Yo, it's your boy Sneaky from R&R, recognition and respect. Tune in every Monday from 8 to 9 to catch up with me and my adventures and hear from my guests ranging from artists to entrepreneurs and much more. Catch us every Monday of the week on the west side of the after party. See you at the party, y'all. What's up, party people? You're back. Recognition and respect with your boy Sneaky. I'm a little hungover, a little dehydrated, so if my energy is low today, I apologize in advance. But I got an awesome guest. Before I get there, got to do my part for my sponsors. Help me keep this thing alive, help me pay the bills, keep the lights on, keep bringing you dope content, awesome guests. So first off, Dewdrops of Light. Super thankful that they've joined the team. They're the home of the Wake and Bake Bar, a THC-infused breakfast bar with oats, nuts, dried fruit, and chocolate. Great in the morning with coffee or tea. Perfect for an on-the-go snack and pick-me-up. Comes in 4 awesome flavors. They also do cookies. They also do Joy Juice, which is a green dragon tincture. So it's like 90% alcohol infused, 30-hour extraction. You could pretty much drop it on anything. Great for micro dosing or just enhancing, making anything medicated. I use it a lot during the holidays, just like, there we go. And then Midnight Motives, my brother's band, guest from episode 24. Their album Visions is out on iTunes and Spotify, so go stream, go share, go spread the word. They're going to have some shows coming up, so be on the lookout for that as well. And last but definitely not least, Night Flare Company, a film, music production, and booking company. Services include live sound and recording with JQ, studio production and recording by Frankie Valentine, another guest from episode 13, video content by Napalm Monkey Productions and Flying Chimp Studios, and we do bookings, we do shows, we do promo, so anything you really need as far as event production and promotional things, video content, music videos, artist spotlights, marketing, pretty much one-stop shop for independent artists and bands just try and put on and develop content and pretty much get their kind of EPK together, and get it all out. So those are the sponsors. Quick adventure time and some updates. Border X Brewing, we recently had our investor parties this meeting. I'm rocking my investor shirt right here. Testing out all the kinks. It was 2 days back to back. I DJ'd. We had drinks. We had Cuban food. The vibes are amazing. I'm looking super forward to the grand opening that's happening this weekend, March 2nd, from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're going to have vendor fair, classic cars, B-side players, loteria, arts and crafts, just like a whole day of family-friendly fun. Bring the kids, bring the abuelas, bring your tias. Latino-owned brewery, Latino-infused beers. So the Jamaica flavored red saison or blood saison, abuelita's chocolate, horchata, pepino sour. They make micheladas. And I'm telling you, like, really dope people, really about the community, brought me on board to help out with their events and their calendar. I'm actually going to be, booking local artists and local vendors and really trying to make that a platform for folks. And they're all about it. So I believe in the company. That's why I invested. I believe in their vision. So now I'm working with them, for them. And this weekend's going to be a huge blowout. On Friday, we're having Jerry Garcia, more of a low-key, soft opening show. Jerry, he's a comedian. And then over the weekend, we're going to have, like I said, the B-side players as well as a little festival. And then Sunday, we're supposed to have DJs and arts and crafts, super chill. They close early. It's not really like a nightclub, go out and party, but it's definitely like good, lively vibes, So perfect for pre-gaming or, date night, whatever. So it's going to be dope. Follow them on Instagram, Border X Brewing. And be looking out on my Instagram as well. I posted a couple pictures today from the weekend, kind of promoting. And there's a flyer coming soon. Have a schedule, and it's going to be dope. It's actually a huge opportunity. It's something that I've been stressing about for a while, and I'm glad it finally is like materializing. And I'm hoping it's going to change everybody's lives. They're a big company that they have a beautiful vision of like trying to support and bring up the people around us and the culture and the beer and the community. And so I'm excited for what we're going to do. So Border X, check them out. And we spent the whole weekend the bell manager is actually moving up here from Temecula, so we drove around and we went to different breweries. We went to Smorgasburg. I was basically, showing him all the people that I know, connecting them, and introducing him to folks and trying beers and just kind of like on that promoter. Hey, what's your Instagram? Hey, let me get you. Let me send you the info. Like, oh, follow us, connect. And it was dope. I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of fun, but I did get a little too wasted, and I'm paying for it today. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get to my guest, Dwayne. Say what's up.
What's up?
So if y'all remember the day I had to do a solo rant was because my boy canceled, and
That's my bad.
it's totally understandable. I
I had
totally
to write
get
this
it.
show.
We're gonna get into that, but we're gonna do a little bit different today. We do have a previous episode with Dwayne already, episode 17. So we're not gonna go into like the backstory and everything that he's does and has done, Nickelodeon, TV, whatever. We're just gonna go straight into tell us what you're doing right now, and then we're gonna talk about Shade the Musical.
Excellent. So right now, teaching, performing, improv and sketch comedy all over LA at the Second City, at the Ruby LA, at Acme Theater, at UCB, wherever I can get up on stage and they let me do some improv, I'll do it. I teach at some of those places, teach sketch comedy and improv there as well. I'm an actor professionally. That's how I do most of my work, and keep the lights on kind of thing or whatever.
Yeah, I feel that.
And then
Lights are good.
Hey, I like eating too. And most recently, I wrote and directed a musical comedy that the Second City at Hollywood produced called Shade, and it plays on Saturday nights at 10 through April 27th.
And I actually got to go to the show because
Yeah.
you invited me and comped me out. I
That was
appreciate
dope. You
that.
came to a preview show, and I appreciate you coming too.
Hey man, the show was good. And I don't know how many times I have to tell you that. You've heard. I probably told you like 4 times since you've been here.
I can't get enough of hearing that. Yeah.
The show was good. So how
Excellent,
about
excellent.
you give us a little synopsis if people haven't been on the social or they haven't seen, your little.
Yeah.
So just kind of give out what it is so people know what we're talking about.
Shade. It's called Shade, a colorful musical comedy. The general idea of Shade, or the story behind it, is that what if you could be someone else for just one day? I feel like most conversations about race in America start with black and white, and I think they should start with black and white, but I don't think that's where they should end. So we're trying to expand the conversation on race beyond black and white, but definitely start there.
Right.
So the what if you could be someone else for just one day is a white woman and a black woman switch places.
Okay, like some Freaky Friday
Some
shit.
Freaky Friday shit, yeah. And it's really silly and fun, and they see that the grass, obviously isn't always greener on the other side.
Right,
of the
right.
fence.
Kind of like the moral of the story type. Like you always
Sure,
have that
sure.
kind of twist at the end where people are like, I want to be
Right.
myself again.
Right, but we
right.
try to make sure it's just funny from beginning to end, and that sucks them in. Rather than message first, we try to go funny first.
Right. And it was good. One of the things that I really commend you on is the music, because it was
Dope.
catchy. I was
Yes.
singing the songs. I felt like in the moment I was like, damn,
Excellent.
these shit's racist as fuck. But I didn't feel bad about
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
Like it was good. So
Well, it was definitely by design. I mean, the musical director Huey Stonefish wrote with Mirage Thrams composed all the music, wrote all the lyrics. They had some help from some cast members as well for our song about Asians. Don't necessarily want to give away the title of that.
Yeah.
But we had one of our Asian cast members helping with that. One of our Chicano cast members helped him with a song called Chicanos, Hispanics, and Latinx. Mirage and I are both black. Mirage is a black woman. I'm a black man. So we helped Huey with some of the lyrics for a song called I Love Being Black. But for the most part, it was Huey Stonefish who did most of the music composing, and Mirage Thrand who helped him with some of the music and almost all the lyrics. And then Eric Shackney is our music director who plays all of our shows and also helped compose one of the songs and wrote some lyrics for one of the songs and helped us out with some of our mixes on some of the other songs that he would put together. So Eric's our musical director every week, and Huey kind of got us started and gave all those
like the structure,
beautiful,
the
funny,
content.
emotional moments from those songs that you hear. Yeah.
Honestly, like I was telling you before, I was kind of wary because of the musical, Like I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if it was going to be cheesy or corny. Like I knew it was going to be funny. I wasn't sure how it was all going to land together, though. And I've been in some musicals in high school, so even then I kind of felt like that over-the-top wonkiness. I was like, how is that going to play? But it hit well. And so where did the idea come from? Maybe like if you have like that kind of that you know where that concept was born from, or like why
For
did you want to
sure.
do a musical? Like,
Well, I like that you said that you had expectations coming into it about what musicals are, and because you've experienced them from the inside out,
right,
you know, and we knew that too. So what we will try to do at the Second City is social political satire, mostly through sketch comedy that we write through improvisation. At the Second City LA, we go a little further, and we bring our sketch sensibilities to what are traditionally musical theater kind of concepts. So I had an idea for a narrative show that could be easily be taken seriously in musical theater. We kind of want to satirize and mock that, even
right.
kind of mock musical theater by the way we perform, bringing our sketch sensibilities to this story. So the idea I
Because
had
like the
was,
dancing is like a
yeah,
little. It's
we got choreographed pieces that are over the top. We
right,
got
right.
lyrics that are over the top. We got situations that are over the top to invite people into the funny in a way that is disarming. So that way they can then sit back and be like, all right, we're gonna talk about race. Let's talk about it a little bit. You know?
Right.
Yeah. But what we what we wanted to make sure we do was invite them in with the funny part of it. But we purposely tried to build a narrative that was all encompassing, but yet still very specific to black and white, and but didn't stop there. You know.
Right. It was almost like you used black and white as a way to comment on all of the
Yeah.
race conversations
Yeah.
and all the
And
stereotypes. Like,
exactly. And I know I definitely wanted to do it with two women characters this time around. Like the shows I'd done before didn't have heavy female leads, so I wanted to like have give my opinions about through these women characters ways where I thought we weren't being our best selves, all of us, and I thought that people listen. Good or bad, I'm not trying to say women are necessarily stronger or wiser, all that other stuff. I'm not trying to make them mythical, but I just do feel like people do listen a different way when the message might come from a woman than they might when we've traditionally heard our messages coming from men and how they might express themselves.
well, like how you said, it's your opinion, right? And you made
Hmm.
it clear, like, this is just an opinion piece. Like, the
Yeah.
shade is an opinion. Like,
What I was
this is
saying
kind
was
of your
that,
own,
yeah, the
your
show
own
itself
take. This
is
is on your
my
own
opinion.
take on it,
Yeah,
right?
I think all of us are in the cast included. We poke and prod. We ask questions without giving answers. We say, "This is what I think about, what maybe this racial group says and does about another racial group. This is what I think about. This is what I've observed. How I feel. It's my point of view. That don't mean I'm right.
That doesn't mean you're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It doesn't, but that is how I feel. And then let's talk about it. We don't want you to walk away saying, "Oh, I get it. I have all the answers now."
No.
No, we want you to be like have conversations, further conversations about.
On that note,
Yeah.
though, and we don't have to go too deep, but
Yeah.
the Asian portion of it,
Yeah.
when they gave like literally a history lesson and like geography, and I was
Yeah.
like, I did feel like, oh, I just learned, like, I felt like I learned something, and I think
That's
that's one of the things that I commented is that like so much just because of my own political leanings and the university I went to and just kind of the climate right now, like so much of comedy is like cringeworthy to me, like a lot of the people I listen to on podcasts who I like their conversations, I can't really go and listen and watch their comedy specials. Like it's
The
like
comedy
it
feels
gives me like
it feel like
ugh.
exploitative. When you say cringeworthy, I don't mind when I watch a sketch show and black is the butt of the joke, as long as that's not the only time that I see black. If every time I see black in a sketch show and black is the butt of the joke, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, can we be an equal opportunity offender? So that's what I tried to do with Shade. I was like, hey, man, yeah,
Everybody's
talk
gonna
some
catch
shit,
it.
but everybody got to catch it.
Yeah.
Or what are we really doing then, otherwise? So I know what you mean by you've seen stuff out there that's cringe-worthy because people want to express themselves, want to get across their point of view. We want to talk about race in a way where we can make fun, but I think the audience feels intent. What is your intent? Is your
Yeah.
intent to mock? Or is your intent to poke,
Or
prod?
educate or
I'm not even trying to educate. I'm just trying to say, hey, here's my opinion.
right.
And hopefully my opinion isn't such that it puts down others in a way that is just trying to be, dominant in some way. That's not
Right.
where my opinion is coming from. My opinion is coming from a place where, hey, man, aren't we all a little shitty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I walked into, was it Angel City Brewery, and they had we went into like this part where they had a comedian live podcast show happening. We just went there because there's no line at the bar,
Yeah,
so we were like, let's
I
go
heard
and get
that.
our drinks over here. And right when we walked in, she was like, "People are trash. We're so shitty these days to each other." And I was like, yeah, it's true. There's like a lot, like we're seeing more of people's lives. We're seeing, and like nobody's perfect, right? Everybody
Uh-huh.
has their thing that they could improve on, or that maybe like they're not making the right moves in society as far as like how they're operating with other folks, and
We're holding people to ourselves to these ridiculous standards and trashing each other when we don't meet them. And people are,
right, like the hypocrisy of it all, like
yeah, and people are getting shunned, and people are getting,
canceled culture. Yeah.
depressed and taking their own lives and all kinds of other things over nothing, over nonsense, over, being part of the tribe in some way.
Right.
When it's all ridiculous, man-made. If we did that and created it, we can create something else. We can change all this.
Yeah.
It's all made up.
No, yeah, we made it in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about why you missed my show.
Yes.
I didn't realize that
Yes,
you had
yes.
to rewrite
Yeah, man.
the show.
I had to rewrite the entire
That sounds
show.
stressful. Like
It was
what,
incredibly stressful. So luckily,
what happened? What happened with that? Why'd you have to rewrite it in the first place?
well, at a place like Second City, I want to say that I'm lucky in that when they choose to produce a show, they will give you a run of a show, which means that it'll get a regular night and a regular time and have a regular price to it at this regular place. But you also get 4 previews of that show. So it'll give you an opportunity in front of an audience to figure out, like we do with sketch comedy oftentimes, figure out what's working and what isn't, but in front of an audience. So that way you can finally, when you open, have a show that you feel like really works and has our, Second City's sensibilities and what you wanted to get across. So because we have those previews, I use those previews as a way to say, let me try this idea in front of an audience. So the narrative they originally had, by the second preview, our artistic director of the theater had come to watch the show. He's the artistic director of the theater, and he also produced this particular piece. So he wants to see
what his name's on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I gave him originally just a verbal pitch, and then a written pitch, and then a beat sheet, and then I gave him a script. You know what I mean? So he had all this. He knew kind of what it was, but he wanted to see, is this really working?
Right.
The way
paper,
we agreed
yeah.
that this was going to be working. He knows what kind of show he wants, and we know what kind of show we have standards that we want to put out there.
And he knows what you do.
He knows what I do. He trusted me from
yeah.
other shows, and exactly. He knows what I've
And
done.
Second City has a history of doing shows
Exactly.
like this that are doing commentary,
Similar,
that are doing
specifically the Second City here in Hollywood. We're starting to kind of build our own brand of the type of Second City show that we do. And I think that Second City LA was like, all right, now we've had, almost 10 years of doing these premium shows. They've changed even since I've done them, Dwayne. So let's see what you got. So he came to that second preview to see, are we on track? And then he was very excited about what he saw, but that excitement still led to what he didn't see. I remember after the lights went out, and I was like, "Hey, we got a hit." Pat him on the back. I was like, "We got a hit, huh?" He said, "No." I said, "We got a show, huh?" He said, "Not yet," but in a very positive way. In a way, it was like, "Don't think that this is it, because it ain't." But in a way to saying, you got something, because he said it with a smile, like,
right.
not yet.
Like, not yet. Like, it's going to be a show.
Right.
When I'm done with it, it's going to be a show
right.
when you're
so,
done with it.
And I love getting notes from Josh Funk. I've been working for and with Josh Funk for, over 10 years.
He said he gave you 5 pages of notes, though?
Well, they were handwritten notes by me. I had my own notes that I wrote that night for the show, and then I got Funk's notes, and once I got Funk's notes, it was like at least 4 to 5 handwritten notes just from him alone of what I needed to do to make sure the show was how we needed it to be. So I went home in a panic.
I would be freaking out too. It's like telling someone.
Like I got 2 more previews, and basically, if I literally follow these notes to a T, that's a whole different show. So I was like, well, how do I polish this turd that I have into what I know it needs to be? And I felt like Josh Funk's point of view, where he was coming from, which I think the show needed, was we need to be more of an equal opportunity offender, not just the white guys are bad. Or white people are bad and everyone else is awesome.
Or white privilege, or like
it can't be to that, because that's not what I was even trying to say.
But POCs are not racist.
Right. That wasn't what I was trying to say, and that's how I was coming across, that POCs are not racist, that white people are evil, and that's not what it is at all. So I was like, I need another point of view that I don't have in this writing. So I hit up my writing partner, Kyle McGrath. We've written together for years. He was in Afros and Ass Whoopins as a performer. We've done sketch, whatever. He's my business partner. We've done all kinds of stuff together. So I was like, Kyle is from Kansas. And
white dude.
Yeah, white dude from Kansas. And he knows sketch, and he knows what I'm trying to do. Woke him up. Kyle, we got to do this, bro. He was hungover from the night before. He barely heard what I was saying.
I feel you, Kyle. I feel you.
But he was like, he heard it in my voice. He was like, come over, bro. We'll do this. So I had recorded that, last preview. That was horrible. And I started to play it for him. He got past the first song, and he was like, stopped it. And he was like, you know what? Let me just hear the songs. Don't show me the narrative. So I only played in the songs. He's like, got it. So we put the songs up on post-its on the wall, and we rewrote the whole narrative together, like beat by beat. We wrote beats together, and I'd go off and write the script, and I was sending what I had. And he'd be like, yeah, this works. He'd punch up a joke here, punch it there. And we rewrote the whole narrative in such a way where now I brought it to the cast on a Wednesday. We had that preview on a Saturday.
You guys rewrote for 2 days. Yeah, 3 days.
I brought them a whole new script where we had to, like, 2 more previews, and then opening night we had 3 weeks basically.
So they had to memorize
get our shit
and
together.
learn and.
So yeah, that was a huge undertaking for them, or for me, of course, and for Kyle to put this all together, but for them too. So I had to know that the writing had to be such that we had to make it super gamey. What I mean by that is in sketch comedy, you have games that we heighten. Game is the first unusual thing that a character might say, and then we then repeat that pattern where the audience knows it's a pattern that we're repeating, but we don't just repeat by doing the same thing. We heighten. That's how
you build it. That's how you build it.
Building blocks of comedy are really sketch comedy. So that's how we do sketch, and that's how most of comedy is built, is through heightening a game. So we knew we had to make it super gamey so that
is that like when you do the callback and then you bring back the thing you said at the front? Is
part
that
of the game, but what I mean is like a pattern. I mean, like, here's something again. Oh, the audience goes, oh, it's a pattern. They did it again. But they didn't do it the same way. They did it better, funnier.
Right.
So they heightened it. So then you want to establish a pattern and then change the pattern. So I knew I had to make the rewrite such that the audience got it, and the players, it was so easy and gamey for them to remember, so they had to remember all these new lines.
Yeah, that sounds like the hard part, right?
So I had to make it super gamey, so that brunch thing that came up
to
they knew all that the game has little linchpins for them to come back. They'd be like, oh, if I get lost in it, because there's spots in there I want them to improvise a little.
That's why it's sketch. That's why it's sketch comedy, yeah.
Well, that's why it's at Second City, because that's how we write our sketch.
Improv, yeah.
It's through improv. So, but I had to bring them back, and then again, we didn't have a lot of time, so I want them to stick to the script. But here's where you can play.
And then come back on beat.
Yeah, so all that had to be structured in a way.
But when you do it so easy for the audience, then it's way easier for the person who's doing it, right? Like
everybody in the room is got to be on the same page. The players on stage and the audience. We can't lose anybody. We all got to be on the same page. You know what I mean? So it's got to be simple, yet new and different. It's like a song. It's like an essay. It's like a poem.
It sounds so... And you did it in like 3 days, and they put it together in 4.
Thank God for Cal McGrath. Thank God for our sketch sensibilities that we have been doing all these years. Thank God for Josh Funk. Thank God for having a project that when I brought it to Huey, when I had the linchpins, I had titles. I always just do tip song titles when I write these musicals. I had tip song titles, and me and Huey and Mirage.
Titles,
working titles. And we talk about these moments thank God for Huey and Mirage, where we talk about these moments for a long time, where we understood what these moments were. So when he brought these songs, it was like, fuck yeah, this is the moment. So we thank God for that. Because
that's a majority of the bulk of the music.
I told you, I was like, man, I need these first before we even get, we even start rehearsing the cast, because in case the narrative wasn't working. I told him that beforehand. I didn't know that it wasn't going to work or not, but I said in case it wasn't working, I can throw out that narrative. We'd have these songs that are working and build around that.
Because the song is like the pattern, that's the outline.
It's our emotional through line. It was our emotional through line. I said that from the the time I had the concept of it. And the concept came from when we did Afros and Ass Whoopins. Concept came from in 2014. We wrote it in 2015. It ran for a year and a half. We closed in December 2016. I knew people were going to come up to us saying, "What's next for you guys?
Right.
What is your deal? What is your brand? Who are you?" So we wanted to have things that not only the audience would respond to beyond tissue sketch that we see all the time that's funny but no one remembers. We want the sketch that people remember. We also wanted things that the cast members could, latch onto and be a part of that's bigger than them. So they would give of themselves, because we couldn't compensate them yet in ways that we'd like to in this small little comedy theater that we're doing. So it has to be big ideas that people give a shit about, that aren't just, the run-of-the-mill kind of, traffic sucks or whatever it is that's small that is funny. And we can exploit comedy out of anything, but we wanted big ideas. So we said, race is our deal. What do we want to say about race?
That's what Afros and Ass Whoopins. It was also on race, right? And like police brutality and that.
It was about police brutality.
But it was more serious and like.
It was.
It was more tear jerking.
Exactly. You were moved as much as you laughed in Afros. With Shay, we wanted to straight up romp. We wanted to just laugh from beginning to end.
Nonstop
laughter, bent over funny kind of thing. And I always was noticing people holding their arms up next to each other, talking about skin color, with even
Yeah.
people within the same culture, nationality, same so-called race or whatever, always talking about these different shades of what came down to me of the basic idea of people kept thinking white equals right and dark equals wrong. And I was like, no, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
That's wrong.
That's
So
very wrong.
I wanted to change that through comedy. And I don't know about changing. I don't know how much change we're doing with Shay, but I know we're going to make you laugh and talk about it.
I mean, the conversation definitely it's definitely a conversation starter because, like I said, me and my friends who were there, we were talking about it the whole way home. I was
Dope.
singing the songs.
Dope.
We were laughing at the moment.
That's what we want to
Even
hear.
the ones where we're like, you were like, oh, like almost you wanted to
Sensitive.
cringe.
Yeah,
It was like,
sensitive.
I was like,
There's some
"Ugh,"
sensitive
this is
moments
like,
in there, yeah.
like y'all teetered that line,
Yeah.
you know, and that's kind of what
Yeah.
that's what I said. And even when I put it on Instagram, I started a little conversation in the thread, the comments
Yeah.
about like, you know, how do you balance that line?
How
Where
do
like
you?
you make you make your fun, you point out your stereotypes, you give your opinion,
Mm-hmm.
but yet it's funny and people can still respect you, and you didn't go like just for the shock value
Right.
and say some
Right.
outlandish shit.
Well, one, we knew we wanted to be an equal opportunity offender. That was the biggest note I got from Funk was like, bro, you got to make sure we all got a little dirt on us in some kind of way. And I agreed with that. I thought, yeah, that's actually was my original intent. So if I wasn't getting that across, I would make sure I got that across in this rewrite. That we're all a little shitty.
Yeah. We all have our whatever, our hang-ups,
Our hang-ups are
our
you know,
character flaws,
character
whatever.
flaws. That's really what it is.
We all
Just
have
little
our character
character flaws, whatever. So it's not enough to just say, these people are bad, and we're not, kind of thing, because that's soapbox kind of, message across thing.
And I think that's kind of the narrative that you get right now from everybody, even like
Yeah,
black people talking shit about white people
yeah,
and saying how
most
like
dramas are like that. When people try to tackle drama, black is the flavor, or people of color rather, I think, not just black, are the flavor of the month right now. People of color are the new black right now. We want your stories. We want you to come be you and this other stuff. And a lot of dramas, I feel like, are getting a lot of our stories that weren't traditionally told out there. But when they come to race relations, it's always just like how things should be, not how things really are.
Right,
We're trying to give us answers when places we don't have those answers yet. So with comedy, we're not trying to give you answers. We're trying to point out the truth of what we see, what we observe. What you laugh at is what you recognize to be true oftentimes, but not in a mocking or shocking way. Like you were pointing out, not just for shock value. It's not racist jokes that you would tell as a kid and snicker at just because they were so visceral.
and then you made sure
It's
not to say
that.
them around
No.
other folks, right?
We're
'Cause
trying to be smart about our humor in a way that pokes and prods and says, yeah, but look at this. I've heard that. Let's look at this. But in a way that is hopefully forward thinking.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I said. Like, it feels like it's a progression. It feels like this is like the next stage of comedy where you're gonna have to like be really honest about everything, and you're not gonna be able to kind of like hand out the half concocted half of the story, because I kind of feel like
Yeah.
that's kind of what it's like. You're only because usually you have one comedian who has their identity or their experience, and they're doing their commentary, right? So it comes off as a very like, oh, them. Like there's a very othering effect, right?
All very homogenous humor. The black people tell black humor. Oh, black people different white people. The Hispanic people tell, oh, how we're not black or white. It doesn't have to be that. We can
Right.
have our own stories in a way that are celebratory, or we can have stories in a way that aren't all separated. We can all be a part of this large tapestry. I know this sounds very kumbaya, but
I like
every day
kumbaya,
you,
man.
but I'm from Los Angeles.
Right.
When I walk out on the streets of LA, even though I may have grew up in a black neighborhood, I had all kinds of people in my neighborhood that weren't black.
Right.
We all got along very fine. It was all really great. And when my friends and family and people I see and work with and want to work with and want to be around, and the humor I seek isn't just from black people. And that's okay. I don't define what blackness is, and other black people don't get to either. And let's make fun of that.
Right.
Let's make fun of all our foibles. Let's make fun of that in a way that hopefully has us opening our eyes a bit more.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with it.
Yeah,
I'm
right
with
on.
it.
But
So-
funny first, man, because again, if it ain't funny, they be like, "Yeah, man, that sound great, no, but don't nobody want to be, I don't want your woke ass show."
Right. And
this
that's,
woke show is a funny show, so it ain't a woke show. It's funny.
It's funny.
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
people
I did feel woke being there. I felt like I could
Yeah.
brag
But with
to
a
my
smile on
woke
your
friends
face.
about how woke I
Right.
was.
You're
like,
able to do it with a smile on your face,
Yeah.
so you don't come talk about this woke show. You come talk about this funny show.
It's funny.
That
It's-
happens to be woke.
It's funny first, definitely.
Yeah, that's what
funny
we
first.
want.
But I just liked how everybody got a chance to say their piece,
I want the
and everybody's
moments.
stories
I want
came,
the moments. It's a black and white story. A white woman switches places with a black woman, right? It's a black and white story,
and then they, but
right?
they throughout it, they're interacting
in
with.
there, they're interacting with Hispanic people, Asian people. Joy, you're saying you got some education in that song about the history of Asian people. Joy, the woman who sang that song, helped write that, and she's got her degree, I think, in Asian studies or
It
whatever.
shows,
So
it
it came out of that's her personality came out of that. I wanted her to be able to share what she knows and has learned and what we are all walking around getting wrong or just, not understanding. Share that with us in a funny way, and she did.
Dude, I'm
So
telling you,
dope.
she nailed it.
Hell
And
yeah.
I walked out of there feeling like I actually understood a little bit more of
Yeah.
the world and people's kind of,
Different points of views.
right? Because they all, we always feel like we had, it's our experience, right? So it's always more personal to us. But
We
then
have
you
to make it
realize
personal,
that,
yeah.
like, other people are also having their experiences and they're growing up with their racist parents or their
Right.
not woke uncle or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everybody had
Exactly
those
that.
people like
I
we
think
all,
that with the from Obama being elected through Trump, we all the aunties and uncles and grandparents
got exposed.
Yeah, that was racist. Well, not just got exposed, but it came out of the fucking woodworks. First got exposed, then came out of the woodworks because they thought it was all right to expose me. They're embracing the
Like,
racism, and
my president.
and we have to just push back harder. Like we're not having that.
No.
We're not having that. Everybody knows. The people who embrace it and the people who don't. Everybody knows that this "Make America Great Again" thing really means make America
White
like we were
again.
100 years ago,
Yeah.
when it was more segregated, when it was more white dominance, when it was more white supremacy. That's what they want back.
Right.
That's what they wanted. The non-browning of America is what they want them back. And we're not having that.
No, if anything,
There is no
America's gonna get
backwards.
more brown.
I am not offended by someone calling me progressive because it has the word progress in it.
Right.
Progress means forward.
Mm-hmm.
I have no wrong with that. With changing the language. When I had someone argue with me, it was a friendly debate. I won't call it an argument. It was a friendly debate after the show because first this beautiful woman congratulated me on a funny show. She came to see one of her friends in Shade, and then afterwards she commenced to tell me how black people. She's like, "Oh, but I love your show, but." By the way, black people can't be racist. And I was like, yeah, we can. I just gave you 2 examples in this show alone. And she was like, no, we can't because we didn't invent the concept of racism. No, we did not. Nor do I necessarily am a believer in. I'm an anti-racist. But that doesn't mean racism doesn't exist.
Right.
Or that we can't be participants in that thing that we've now defined and now does exist. So I love the healthy debate. Especially from other black people, but I don't get to define blackness or who gets to be black or what blackness is, nor do I get to have you just wholeheartedly tell me black people can't be racist and me let that fly when I see examples of that all the time.
Right.
I want the debate. I want the argument. I want you to convince me otherwise because I think that's healthy.
Right.
And that's fun.
I mean, that's to me, ultimately, that's what art is supposed to do. That's what artists do, right? They push the boundaries. They're the visionaries that kind of get society like kind of on that edge where it's
think
like
so.
we're gonna push it to the
I
we're
think,
gonna push the narrative. We're gonna push the story.
There are a lot of artists who run away from what I think is the responsibility of the art. They'd be like, look, I just want to express myself.
Right.
But to me, part of the expression is you have a responsibility if you want to show it to others. If you want to show your art to others.
And promote it and try to get paid for it.
Get it out there in some
and-
sort of
yeah.
general public way. You have a responsibility to then publicly tell us more than bullshit. Whatever is more than bullshit means to you. But don't just tell us bullshit.
Right.
Because if you want to do your art and you want to just show it to a few or just to yourself and giggle in a corner and just be satisfied with getting it out in some kind of way, that's fine.
Yeah.
When you make it public, then it doesn't belong to you anymore.
Right.
And because of that, you have a responsibility.
Right. Because it can go off and
Because you're affecting
it's gonna change
masses of people.
Yeah, it's gonna affect people, or people are gonna they're gonna interact with it, right?
Yeah.
Now it's
so
like,
a lot of people, artists run away from it. They be like, look, man, I just want to do my thing.
yeah.
Do your thing.
I'm just a rapper. I'm not a
You could be a
politician
rapper,
or a
whatever.
community
But
leader. I'm
speak
just
your
a rapper.
truth.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. You ain't gonna speak my truth. I want them to be able to speak their truth. But don't give us bullshit. When I say don't give us bullshit, if your truth is the trap house, give us the truth of the trap house. That is more than the bullshit. It ain't just shines.
Right.
It ain't.
No, definitely not.
You know what I'm saying?
It's called
give
the
us
trap
the truth
for
of
a
that.
reason.
For real though.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that I got to be all dramatic. You can be, there was funny rap, back in the day,
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
other
yeah,
shit, and
yeah,
it still
yeah.
can be, and it still is. But give us your truth,
Right.
and not the bullshit.
Well, now we're going into music. That's my forte. I just want to talk about the music was great. You basically just said it carried the show, and you
I love it.
rewrote
Love
around
it. Love
it.
that
So,
music. Yeah.
where did the ideas for the song? You said they came from the emotion that you needed,
Yeah.
and the lyrics. Like, how?
So when trying to craft this story, right? I knew that I wanted to be a black and white tale of two women, one black, one white. Originally, the story was that they looked alike, and they switched places because they looked alike.
Oh, it wasn't Freaky Friday
It wasn't
type
Freaky
shit.
Friday. We changed it to that basically because of casting. I wanted flexibility in the casting to be able to put anybody in that role,
Right,
and not
so
just
you
have it so that people looked alike.
Looked alike, yeah. Smart.
Right. So ask your question again one more time.
Music.
Music, the idea for the emotional
like
connection
how
to
to
the music.
drive.
So
like,
in crafting the story, though, I knew that because of this black and white tale, and I wanted these women to tell this tales or whatever, I was like, okay, well, the broad strokes of it are going to be, what if Rachel Dolezal woke up and got her dream of being black? What would she go out and do? What would if we got to make her black? Not that she got to wish upon a star and become black and go off and have this Disney fantasy, but what if black people got to make her black and
be
show
like,
her
this is what black people go
show
through.
her what we go through?
Yeah.
And also someone like Stacey Dash. What if white people say, "Great, you want to be white? Here, this is what being white means." But not
And
even white people making her.
This is how people attack
but what
you.
if again, not white people making her white? What if black people got to make Stacey Dash white and say, "Oh, you want to be white?" That was the original idea for me. So these characters are based on that. They're not Stacey Dash. They are not Rachel Dolezal, but their names are Rachel and Stacey. So I knew I wanted to have all these.
I didn't even catch that.
Of course you do, because that wasn't the intent.
That wasn't the show.
Intent.
Yeah.
But I want to have the emotional journeys of the grass is always greener. So if the grass is always greener, it's like, oh, you think it's dope to be black. What are the stereotypical things that you think black that it would be dope if you were being able to be black, Miss Dolezal? What were the stereotypical things you think would be dope if you were able to be white, Miss Dash? Not that they know these things or said these things, but my version of what they might.
Right. Your opinion.
My opinion about it. So I wanted a I want song. Most musicals, if not all, have some sort of I want. This is what I want. I need to state my case.
Right. So you can follow me as a character.
What
you know
what
where
I
my
want.
motives are at.
Yep.
This is what I
So
want.
the I want, it's got to be them. I want it to be a duet, them together. I want you to be you. I want to be you. That's why we had this, the song they do. I won't give it away, but the duet that they have together.
It's good. It's good.
After the I want, I want them to go off into these other worlds and be celebratory.
Because they got what they wanted.
Got what they wanted. I Love Being Black is one of the songs. Golly gosh, holy wow, something, I'm really white. That one where she says, what do I do with my hands? It starts off with these stereotypical white things.
Right.
So we got her, living her best life of, the dream of being white. Then we wanted to have this magical element throughout. The original idea told you, I was saying, what if black people could make Rachel Dolezal white? Black. What if black people could make Stacey Dash white? With the black people part of it, the magic was what I wanted brunch to be. My two waiters are my magic. They'd be like, magical. We made them switch. Brunch is magic.
Yeah.
And we get to fuck with them now. They think it's awesome. So I need to have, for the songs, I wanted linchpins of, it's awesome to be black. It's awesome to be white. Then it's not awesome. What are those not awesome moments?
This is where you find out the grass is not always greener.
The grass is not always greener. So I wanted the emotional moments of, it's great. It's horrible. I knew I wanted an opening number. I knew I wanted an I want. I knew I wanted an it's awesome.
And then
how does it break down?
How
does it break down? And what does that fucked up thing mean? And I also knew I wanted to celebrate things we do not know about Asian people and about Hispanic people that they want to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
How was it going to get all that in there when it didn't seem like it fits?
Yeah, no, it was a lot.
You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, the show was a lot. Yeah.
But that's what I wanted.
But
I gave Huey a tall fucking order. We had lots of meetings like, what does this mean? You want all this stuff in there, and you also want us to get Asian people and Hispanic people in there too? Yeah. Yes, I do. And it all worked.
It worked.
It all works, yeah. I knew it could fit in. That's the thing about directing is you have to have vision when nobody else does, man. Slings and arrows are going to come your way. Everybody's going to question everything you do.
Because they don't see what you see.
For answers too at the same time. Yeah, they don't see what you see. So you got to have that vision, that through line. But at the same time, I can't be so focused with blinders on that
rigid.
I'm not. Yeah, so rigid that I throw away the Second City model, the improv model of yes and. Of best idea wins.
You keep saying that. What is that? Yes and.
Yes
you,
and.
You mentioned it off outside, and
yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell you're talking
about. In improvisation, the concept of yes and is how we build an improv scene or a successful improv scene or it's the building blocks of how we make something out of nothing. So the idea of yes and is I don't have anything and you don't have anything, but I'm going to make a reality by what I say and do. Not a whole reality, a piece of it. I'm going to agree with that. That's your yes. I agree with that reality. You just said yes to what you just said and did.
And I add to it.
Is I have to add to it because we're in this together. So the yes and part of it bleeds into your life. It starts off with improv.
So it's like we're in a boat. Yes, we're in a boat. And
a simple game that we play is called Ad Game, where there's a product, real or made up, that one person is going to add. Like we're in an advertising company, and we have to build this product together in this room. So the spirit of yes and has to be in this room. So we have these students literally say the words yes and then they give us what they're going to add to it. So if I'm building, a new bottle of water, I'm just saying that because it's in front of me, a new bottle of water, I'd be like, this one's going to have straws that you can pull out of the top. You're going to say, yes, it is going to have straws you can pull out of the top. You agree with my reality. And it's also, and you add something to it. That is going to make comedy gold. That's how writers' room work. I never worry about a no. If you say no, everything stops. So we try not to do that when in our writers' rooms, in our comedy gold rooms, because when you say no, it just...
Or but.
Yeah. But is another no.
Yeah, but is no.
I don't worry about the
winner.
bad ideas. Say the bad ideas, they will yes and themselves. They will flame out. The best ideas get yes anded. Yeah, and then we can do this, and yeah, we can do that. They get yes anded and built up in a way that we know that's a good idea. We know the bad ones like because they flame out real fast. We yes and them to a point where we're like, oh yeah, but that's not going to work because... We yes anded the shit out of it. We tried. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. Let's yes and it. So the spirit of yes and is what got us. What got me? Huey Stonefish, Mirage Strands, Eric Shackney, this amazing cast of Tawana Floyd, Dahlia Glick, Justin Robinson.
Shout them all out.
Yeah, Brendan McKay, Serenity Garcia, Sarah Winchester. John Ryan Benavides, Rochelle Gutierrez, Rashawn Perry, Mataji Booker, Erica Johnson. I got 14 cast members. Spencer Frankenberger. I know I'm leaving somebody out, but y'all don't. They're gonna be pissed. I left them out. Joy Regulano, Jonathan Elijah Cho. Huey Stoneface, Larry Shackley, Mirage Stram, Josh Funk. I mean, it's just a dope cast, dope producers, dope music. It's just, I couldn't ask for a better show. I just want people to come out and see it. The tough part about it is that we're Saturday nights at 10 o'clock. People got a lot of choices in LA for a Saturday night at 10 o'clock, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
But the show's not even long. It's like 45 minutes.
It's an hour-long show.
Yeah.
We come in 45 strong, baby.
I went there and
you still able to have a night out.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
You still come in. You can have drinks before, get there. See this dope show and talk about it for the rest of the night.
A little before, That's why we were laughing.
Yeah, do your thing. Exactly, bro. It helps.
All right. I want to switch gears. We got 15 more minutes. So the show every Saturday?
Every Saturday through April 27th.
10 p.m.
At 10 p.m.
And
the Second City Hollywood, 6560 Hollywood Boulevard.
Tickets are?
SecondCity.com, $12.
$12.
Industry comps are free. So if you have work in the industry in any way as a casting director, a representative, an agent, a manager, anything like that, or you have some sort of executive position, if you have a business card that shows you are in the entertainment industry in any kind of way, you bring that to our box office and hit up Carrie Ann Pishnak, and you will get in all of our shows, all of our premium shows, all of our shows free.
That's dope. And actually, that's what I wanted to switch in these last 10 minutes because you mentioned a couple things that I wanted to tease out. You said something about compensation, and that my ear prick up. Like, okay, are these? You said these casts are not getting paid.
We have a model. We have a model at Second City where we hit a certain threshold, and our cast members do get paid.
Okay,
not the way I would like them to.
Right. And then we were.
It's a small theater. It's not equity. It's 65 seats. If we break the fire code, small.
Yeah. Right. And then we were talking about outside off air. You were talking about how you're trying to build this show up to be a platform for the Second City folks who go through the program.
Yeah.
So can we talk about this? Those
absolutely.
I feel like those tie in, right? Compensation and getting work. And
absolutely. I'll try to, don't let me lose track of compensation, but I'll start it off by, I know we only got a few minutes. I'll start off by saying that every year for the past 3 years, Second City Hollywood has had a Los Angeles Diversity and Comedy Festival that happens the weekend, usually it's the weekend of the 15th. I think this year it's going to be 17th and through the 19th or something like that, at the Second City in Hollywood. In that, we bring in groups for improv and sketch and stand up from all over the country that come here, and we celebrate diversity and comedy in a way through our Second City vehicle, that kind of thing. We want that to continue. So, in wanting that to continue, I'm on the committee for the festival for the last few years since its inception, as well as being a teacher at the Second City. I continue to be a teacher there because, one, they'll have me, which is awesome that they even do that, because I'm one of the people who's gone through their program there locally, not through their Detroit or Chicago or Toronto, other facilities, but through Los Angeles, and be able to teach the adults there is a big freaking deal. So I continue to teach there, one, because they'll have me, and two, because I still get students to this day, when they see me perform, or when they see me or teaching a class, they'd be like, I've never had, or I've never even seen, never heard of a black improv or a black sketch comedy performer or instructor before. I'd be like, what? I have black improv teachers or whatever. But if we don't continue that and make sure that we celebrate these voices
They're not
and
gonna
make
be
sure and bring in other people of color, I'm always, anytime I see a person of color that I think that is remotely funny, I'd be like, you taking improv? It doesn't have to be in Second City. It could be anywhere. But like, get in this, because comedy used to just be about stand-ups. You think of comedian, you think of stand-up. Well, now all these theaters do stand-up. They do open mics. They do storytelling. A lot of these traditional stand-up theaters now do storytelling. Now have people come in there, do a little improv. It's all bleeding over into comedy.
It's just comedy, like a
It's
big
comedy.
umbrella, right?
So I'm in there to celebrate, to make sure that people of color, I'm in there for the festival for that. I'm in there as an instructor for that. And I'm in there, shows like mine, hopefully, will have a vehicle for students who go through that program to say, yeah, you got this festival. Yeah, you have some teachers, but what do you do with me after I graduate? I got this show,
Shade
baby.
the musical,
I got this
baby.
show you could be in that they can celebrate you, who you are, that is hopefully a concept that is bigger than you, that you want to be a part of, that you can invite people, industry, family, friends to come see, that makes you look good. Yeah.
And then they get jobs.
They
that
get
pay.
jobs. Every premium show that I've ever put up, we've had people from the industry come watch those shows. They've been cast out of premium shows. People will get representation that will get them other jobs that they get cast on out of these premium shows. That's every show I've put up, and most of the other shows that have been put up there as premium show. Casting people do come there. Representation do come there. Industry comes to these shows. If they see you in a dope show, being dope, they're going to make sure they put you up there and out there. People of color are the new black, believe me. They want your voices out there. Shows like this help.
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely all that.
Hey.
I mean, if the Oscars proved it again, right?
Yeah.
Like how many awards went to immigrants or children of immigrants?
Right.
Well, I think it's dope what you're doing. First of all, the whole concept of the show, like I said, for my progressive liberal, tendency,
man.
like I was able
You've
to.
been in it for a minute with your rhymes.
Yeah.
When you went to school, what you did while you were at school.
Yeah, so I appreciated it for what it was. I heard the message. I got the laughs. It was funny. It was edgy. There was times where I was like, God damn,
yeah,
like,
baby, we walk it. We
Yeah,
go
yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
You were like on the fucking tiptoeing,
Right there.
but it was good. And then I just like hearing the back end of it, right? Like
how we put it together,
the
how we
big
built
music,
that.
how important the music was. It was like the whole
Important.
that basically was the show.
Yeah. Well, what I didn't mention was that comedy, just like with Afros and Ass Whoopings, the other musical Huey and I did before this one, comedy for the subject matter,
It needs music.
yeah, it needs that music.
You can't do it straight
needs that
faced,
music.
quiet.
Because race is such a touchy subject, and people think they know what they want to say about race when they start talking, and oftentimes find themselves saying something different when they start speaking. So we was like, we need music for this to kind of just lull them in a bit, let them relax, and we got you.
It's
what
fun.
we wanted.
It's fun. You're covering these hard topics in a fun, lighthearted way,
Yeah.
and it's easy for you to go along with it. And you don't feel racist while you're watching the show.
Exactly. We want to take care of you in a way that you can just in the dark with other people look around without even seeing their faces and go, yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. And you do that through laughter.
Right.
Laughter is the me too. Like, yep, me too. Yeah, we're all a bit racist.
We get it. We all get it.
We all
Yeah.
get it. Yeah.
Well, tell the people where they can find you. I know Shade has an Instagram.
Shade
now.
has an Instagram. I believe it's Shade Musical. Just look up Shade Musical. We have a Twitter page as well, Shade the Musical. Or you can go to secondcity.com to look up tickets for that. Find me on Twitter at Just Like Steven, at JustLikeStephen, or on Instagram at DColbert01. Boom.
Cool.
Yeah.
And everybody go out and see the musical.
Please see
Go
Shade.
support. Like you said, we want to keep these things around and keep the representation and
And it's
keep.
just a fun night out. Have a fun night out.
But it also like you gotta support the things you like.
You do.
or else they're not gonna be there.
That's true.
Like if
Absolutely.
you know, like if your friends are doing music or comedy and you
Yeah.
like it, like you have to show up.
have to.
Or else, how are they gonna keep?
Exactly.
Yeah. You gotta vote with your dollars. You know, you
I
gotta
love it.
put your time in.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you inviting
Appreciate
me
you,
out,
brother.
It
Hell
was
yeah,
a dope
man.
show.
Thank you
I
for
hope
coming.
y'all kill it. You're going till April,
Going through April.
10 p.m. every
10 p.m.
Saturday.
Every Saturday.
Rain, shine,
Hey,
blizzards.
show must go on.
Yes, I like it. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Recognition and Respect with your boy Sneaky. You can find me on all social media platforms that exist. I just joined a new one, so yeah, they're constantly going new things. Just
Can't
Google
stop, won't
Sneaky, Shneaky. Make sure to follow Border X. I'm gonna be talking about them a lot. I'm gonna be super involved. I'm super excited about what they're doing here in the community of Bell, Southeast LA. Really a nice like re-gentrification, as Killer Mike calls it. You know, like people of color owning businesses,
Yes.
wanting to put on
Yes.
the locals, not trying to
Not to reach out.
not to bring they're not bringing San Diego here. They're
Right.
coming here and they're gonna bring Bell into. So
Beautiful.
I think it's dope. Make sure to follow them. Come out this weekend. It's gonna be a sick party, and we're gonna be doing a lot of fun stuff. Speakeasy's still happening. Indie's still happening. I'll be there for St. Patrick's Day, and then Speakeasy we're gonna be doing March 8th. As well as announcing some new shows with the Ill Spot and Face and the whole Monster Mashup clan. So staying busy, staying out there, trying to get paid, trying to
Hey.
put my homies on,
Hey.
trying to support.
That's the name of the
and
game.
we'll be here every Monday night, 8 to 9 on the west side of the after party. Brittany, take us out.